Hello, my name is Lindsay, and I'm going to talk to you today why it is important to become a foster parent. I'm going to tell you three important things. Why it's important to become a foster parent. I'm going to tell you some true stories, and I'm going to tell you how you can become a foster parent. Becoming a foster parent helps a child. It puts a child in a safe home. It takes that child out of a home where it's being hurt at, being neglected, abused, sexually abused. You're helping a child get in a loving, safe home. Did you know in 2009, over 3 million children were called in for abuse or neglect or any other kind of abuse? That is not including all children that could be called in for. When they're called in, it could be multiple children in that household that they're calling on. So in 2009 alone, there were 6 million children that were abused. From 1998 to 2010, the rates have went up and how many children die a day. In 1998, it was only 3 children per day died. Yeah, that's still a lot. But now in 2010, it's 5 plus children. That is just ridiculous. Some more facts that you need to know about children and when you become an adult is, did you know 16% of men and 36% of women in prison were abused as a child? And 25% of teens are more likely to get pregnant if they were abused as some way as a child. And this one is really sad, and this is why it keeps going, is 30% of parents now that were abused as a child are abusing their children in some way or another. They keep the cycle going. Now, some true stories that touched my heart and is what makes me want to become a foster parent. Because there's this little boy, he just came to my center. Foster parents took him in, and they told me, or my director did, be prepared because he has been beaten. So I'm like, all right, I'm just, thinking of any psychological damage or anything like this that the child may have, to prepare myself. When this child walked in, he has recently just been beaten. He had a bruise just all around his ear and the inside of his ear. His whole ear was black. He had bruises all over his cheek. He had a huge black eye, just welts all over his forehead, and he would randomly just grab his head and be like, ow, ow, ow. And that's because he's still getting headaches. The foster dad said that's normal. He's still going to have headaches. He was in the hospital for 3 days because he was beaten so bad. These foster parents took him in, and now he's in a safe home, and he can live. And that's the most important thing, is now he's somewhere where his parents aren't able to get him to do it again to him. Another true story is there was this child, and he was found walking around wandering by himself, 3 years old. No one around. He was just found walking around wandering. The hospital took him in. They checked him out. He was a John Doe in the hospital for 3 days because they had no clue who he was or who his parents was, and no one was claiming him. They finally figured out who he was. The foster family took him, and now he is getting visitations with his family, but it's just sad to think that this little boy was just out wandering. That's why it's so important to become a foster parent, because you're helping this child be in a safe home and not go back to these parents. Now, I'm going to let you know how you could become a foster parent. One thing you need to remember is becoming a foster parent is not a permanent placement of this child in your home. It is intended for maybe the child to return home. If and when some case the child does not be able to return home, this is when it is talked about it becoming a permanent placement in your home if you want that, or the child going in the adoptive system for someone else to adopt the child. If you are interested in becoming a foster parent, you would first then call the 1-800 number, which is 1-800-572-2390. You will then talk to a representative, and that representative will set up an appointment to come into your home and to meet with you. The representative will talk to you about all the things that it takes to become a foster parent, all the stuff that you have to do. If then you are interested in still becoming a foster parent, you will fill out an application, and then you would fill out a medical form. And the medical form is filled out for you and everybody that is in your family that lives in the household. Then you and everybody that is in your household will get fingerprinted and get a criminal background check. During this time, you will take some training classes to prepare yourself to become a foster parent. This training and all the process of everything that you need to get back, the criminal background check and stuff, takes up 2 to 6 months. But after that 2 to 6 months goes by and you're clear on your criminal background check, your training's all done, and all that good stuff, you are now a foster parent. And you are able to put your name in the system for the hospital to call you or other places to call you and say, hey, I have this child. Do you want this child? You know, you don't have to take every single child. You can pick and choose. You could say, I just want males, or I just want females, or I just want them in this age range, or I just, want certain race. You can be picky and choose which ones that you want. You don't have to take every single one. Now, I told you some facts about child abuse and why it's important that you're taking this child in and making them safe. I told you some true stories, and then I told you how you could become a foster parent. I hope all these facts and stories and how you can become one will get you to maybe pick up the phone and consider becoming one yourself. I just want you to remember that you are helping a child. You're putting a child in a safe home. It's all that matters to me. And I hope that's all that matters to you.